What's up, everybody? Hey, Tom Laird here, host of the Advice from a Call Center Geek podcast and founder of Expedia. For exceptional contact center outsourcing, trust Expedia. We're fully AI-driven, as all of you know, and can handle voice, email, chat, and all of your digital channels. Our 600-seat USA contact center is expert in healthcare, financial services, insurance, tech support, retail, and more. Experts on the NICE CX1 platform, we ensure seamless customer experiences. DM me or visit expediausa.com for more. Welcome back, everyone, to Advice from a Call Center Geek. Before we even get into what we want to discuss today, I just want to wish everyone a happy new year as I record this. It is January 1st, 2019, so it is New Year's Day here. I just want to, again, thank everyone for joining us again. This is episode 5 of the Geek. For those of you who have not yet heard one of the previous podcasts, the Call Center Geek is a podcast where we discuss all things contact center and call center related. So if it has to do with your center or is about your center, everything from hiring to operations to technology to management, anything that we can do to help you, we're going to try to do that to try to improve not only the quality of your center and your agents, but hopefully we can improve the customer experience as well, because that's really the whole point of why we're doing what we do. So tonight, I guess, what I wanted to talk about was how to start the day the right way in your call center. And I kind of call this in the policy or procedure that we have here at Expedia, we call this our call center coffee procedure. So I think it's something that you need to think about. You need to discuss with your middle management or with the other kind of hierarchy of your call center, what policies, what procedures, what tactics, what things do you want to do every day that starts the day off in the right way in your center? We see a lot of this in our consulting work where we have really good center who they hire properly. They do a really good job with their KPIs. They monitor and their middle management seems really trained, but every single day they seem to start off really slow. They have associates that are coming in late. They end up sending associates home early, just for some attitudes on the floor, and they don't understand why. I think it's kind of an easy fix, and I think it's kind of a fun fix, but it's something that a lot of centers do overlook. So we don't want your center to do that. So what we're going to talk about today is controlling the first 30 minutes of the shift. And that doesn't mean the first 30 minutes of the day. That means for each individual associate, we really want to try to control that associate's first 30 minutes with our call center coffee policy here. So this is kind of how we do it. I think this is kind of a really good outline for you to follow. You can make some tweaks and some changes, obviously, depending on your culture. But, again, how do we control the first 30 minutes? How do we get our associates with a really good attitude, focused on their job, understanding what they did yesterday, how they need to do better today, and how they can have some fun as well? So the first thing that we think needs to happen in each call center, and it's a culture, it's a culture thing, so this might not work in every center, but I believe, and one of the things that we believe is the center needs to be loud. Loud doesn't have to mean music blaring, but there needs to be an energy. The management needs to be up before the associates get there. The associate cannot come into a dead room where they're the first ones there. Lights have to be on. A lot of times we see centers that only have the front lights on, right? Because they don't fill up their center till 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So they leave the lights on in the back. And I think that's terrible, right? You need to have everything on. There needs to be an energy. You can't, be saving a couple pennies by ruining some of the little bit of the daily morale of the shift by leaving some lights off. So again, we like to play music. At least there's some balloons going on, some pictures that you may have for someone's birthday, whatever you have that you think can create that energy. It needs to happen. And that's the first thing that the associate sees. So really the whole goal of what we're going to discuss is we're trying to change attitudes, right? We want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power as a manager to change an attitude or make sure that we have an attitude that is conducive to doing a really good job on the floor. And that's one of the first things we can do is make sure the environment's good. So number two, it's number two on my list, but I think it's the number one thing that has to happen for you to kick off the day. So make sure that you kind of write this down, and it's really easy, but many call centers, and I would say most call centers don't do it. It is welcome your reps with enthusiasm. It is not good enough to have an associate come to the floor and have a supervisor say, "Hey, hi Janie, how you doing? You're going to be over here today, and you're going to be on this program." That's not good. Every single associate that comes to your floor needs to be treated as a person before they can be treated as an employee. So make sure that happens. We see this in my center here and there, and it fries me, and that my people, my guys kind of know it. But how many of you see associates come in, for their daily job, and you see their supervisor back turned, typing an email, looking at a stat, doing everything but what they should be doing, which is greeting their associate? We lost a big chance to maybe change an attitude, but more importantly, to engage with our associates. So make sure that if you do none of this, the one thing that you do is to make sure that you have some type of policy where you are greeting your associates. It's vitally important to really starting the day off the proper way. Okay, number three. The third thing that we do is we're pretty team oriented. Now, a lot of centers are more individual oriented, but for us, we have about a 12 to 1 ratio, sometimes 15 to 1, sometimes 10 to 1, I guess depending on the program. But anyway, we're team oriented. So we like to discuss things and talk things as a team. We have each of our reps sit in the same booths with the same stations or workstations every single day, same supervisor. We're going to discuss the team goals in a team recap from yesterday. So in this recap, we're going to discuss everything that we did overall as a team, but then we're going to pick out the individuals who kind of exceeded expectations, right? So it might not be your stars who, killed it. It might be somebody who did a really good job depending on their individual goal that you gave them from yesterday. But we're going to give some shout outs. We're going to give people claps. We're going to keep everything really positive in this. Again, we're talking the first 5 to 7 minutes of the day. So again, keep it positive, even if you had a bad day yesterday, right? I'm not saying you make a joke of it, you make light of it, but you don't want to have a second bad day by bringing the energy down in the room. So, for me, I kind of make a little bit of a joke of it, pick out a couple points. So guys, we didn't have the best day yesterday, but hey, maybe this time, maybe today, if Janie doesn't have 60-second after call work, we'll do a little better, something like that, where maybe we can laugh a little bit, but you're still kind of getting the point across. That's my personality. It's not everyone's personality, but the bottom line is don't double down on yesterday's bad day by bringing everybody down today. Because hopefully that makes sense. The next thing that we want to do, and this is number 3 here, is we want to give some individual recaps and some individual goals. So, if you have time before the associates log in, that's when we really like to do this. If you can't, because you got to get them in, then that's fine too. We're just going to make sure that we pool each associate this is for 2 minutes. This isn't a long deal, right? This is they're going to come over to the supervisor, or the supervisor is going to go over to them, discuss quickly what they did yesterday, what their goals were for yesterday, because every single day you must give your associates some type of KPI goal, some type of attitude goal, some type of effort goal, some type of HR, some type of goal. And we're going to recap what we did yesterday, and then we're going to give them today's goal as well. We're both going to agree upon it. And then whether you want to put it up in a Post-it note, whether you have some type of electronic goal system, that's what you want to make sure that they're looking at and they're focused on for the day. Let me say this real quickly about goals too, because I'll discuss this in another podcast coming up. But each goal should be individualized, right? A star that's been on the program for 8 years should have a different goal than the new rep that's been out there for 2 months. So make sure that there are things that are stretching them, but they're still somewhat attainable depending on where they are in the life cycle of their tenure with the company and their skill level. So it's not good enough to just give everyone the same goal. Make sure that you are individualizing those goals, and the supervisor or the management understands that. So if we've gone this far, right, we've done a pretty good job of setting the day, right? So we've had a nice, fun environment for the reps and the associates to come into. Every supervisor was up out of their seat. We gave some high fives. We talked to everybody, gave handshakes. We kind of took the temperature of everyone, right? And then we recapped the team. We gave the shout outs to who did a really good job yesterday. A lot of reps, they're looking forward to that, right? Especially if they know they did a really good job yesterday. So let's make sure that we give them that. They did a good job. We're then going to focus them on the day with our individual goals, right? And our individual recaps from yesterday. So our fourth thing that we're going to do now, and to be honest, before I get to fourth, if we just did that, that's a pretty good, first 15 to 20 minutes where management really is taking charge, and I think you'd be off to a really good day. But that's not good enough, at least I don't think. There's two more things that we want to make sure that we add in there. And the fourth is how we're going to have fun today, which I think is so important. It's so important to get off early so the associates know what's going on. So every single team that we have at Expedia must have a game going on at all times. So again, this isn't the company-wide giveaway for the car, right? We're not talking about that. We're just talking about little things that for break time, little things to get off the phone, to go shoot a basketball, to go, we talked about a bunch of games in the last episode, which was episode 4, which is, I think I called it, the games we play, right? We have a book about 150 games. I discussed 15 to 20 of my favorites. So if you want some call center games, check out that episode. I think that you can get some pretty cool things out of that. But that's important, right? So whether it's team or individual games that we're going to play, what are we going to do to have fun? And then the last thing that we want to discuss or talk about is what changes happen on the program. Now, if we can do all this again, most of this stuff can't be done like all in a team meeting, right? So most of the time your reps are going to be on the phones. If they are on the phone, when we do this individual recap or when we do that team recap, we would add this in there where we discuss, any changes that are going on with the program, right? A lot of times on the inbound side, maybe a mailing went out that we didn't know about, or, the CEO of a company that we're working for maybe just got let go or resigned. And a lot of those customers may be calling in, and we need to know that information. So I put it last on ours because we have our own intranet that keeps a database of all of this information that our client services managers put in. But as these reps are going in the first 30 minutes, they have to make sure that they check that so that they understand all the information that they may need. This isn't stuff that we need to train on, but sometimes prime rate goes up or, for our banking clients, and we need to know those types of things. So, that's kind of the last piece of this to make sure that in the first 30 minutes that they understand any changes or anything that happens to that. I'm going to do almost a podcast on our intranet and on the coaching briefs and how to get information out to associates, especially in an inbound center. That's fast and furious with a lot of reps coming in sometimes at 15-minute intervals. And it can be difficult to get that type of information out. So we'll discuss more of that in a future podcast. But that's what we do here, guys. I mean, I think it's important. It's vitally important that you probably don't copy this because it may not meet what you want to do in your center. But you take the time to sit down with your management team and you discuss, how do we start the day? I would tell you that you better be welcoming with enthusiasm. You better be doing some handshakes. You better be doing some high fives. I'm sure there's some type of recaps that you would like to add into there and some type of information to get out. I just think that this time needs to be controlled by the supervisor. It's his or her time to really take control of the team. Make sure that your middle management are in great moods, that they are ready for the day. If any of this just kind of gets blown by, it doesn't have the same meaning. So again, we're early on in this podcast. This is only the 5th episode. So, there's a lot of things that we want to discuss. One of these will be our management training, what we do with our management trainees, and how do we get our management to become really good supervisors. And a lot of these type of tactics with how we deal with associates, from confrontation to starting the day off, to getting somebody who's not in a great mood into a good mood. We'll discuss that really in the next 8 weeks. I want to get a lot of these meat and potato type things out. So again, I hope that this helps you. I hope that this gets you to think about the beginning of your shift to start your day off the right way. A couple, I guess, housekeeping things before we end this. If anyone is interested, we do have a book. It's 100 pages. It discusses a lot of the things that we talk about in the podcast. It's called Shockingly Advice from a Call Center Geek. You can find it on Amazon. Just Google it or just search for it. You search for on Amazon. It's super cheap. It's like, $1.99 or $2 for the digital copy and $8 for the paperback. And also, please check us out on Instagram and Twitter. We're starting those up as well, and hopefully this week, since we are kind of new at this podcast thing, we're going to get our Facebook media out there as well. So if you want to like us on those, I would appreciate it. We'll have a bunch of information that's kind of bonus material from a lot of the podcasts and things that we discussed that I think can hopefully help you out. So having said that, last thing, please, let your friends know about this. If you are in the call center industry, I'd love to have more people subscribe. I'd love to, hear what you guys think of this. If it's helpful, also in the reviews, if you want to post some topics that you'd like to discuss, we'll be looking to do some webinars and maybe some interviews as well. But, I really want to focus this mostly on how we can help you with some things that people don't really talk about, that I can't find books on, that hopefully can advance your contact center. So again, thank you for listening to this. This is episode 5. We have 4 other ones that I think are just as good as this one was. So again, I appreciate everybody's listening, and we will be back again this week with our second podcast, which should be in about 2 or 3 days. And after that, we'll probably back it down to about 1 a week. But again, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you in a couple days.